I don't get that. If hey, at least hey, thanks for backing me. Here you go.
He's the guy that married that other writer from Marvel, and she ended up doing better books than he did at Marvel.
Relax with Gail. We're gonna probably do something stupid like pull out a snack of some sorts, like that I should never be eating so late.
I thought you guys were gonna go to gas station or something like that at nighttime.
No, well, our gas station is like the fridge where we'll go, ooh, Braunschweiger. Let's have that. That's good at 2:00 in the morning.
Let's go get us Slurpee.
And then we're gonna watch about 10 or 15 people get killed in some cheap ass Shudder horror film that I'll then make a review of on Extreme Movie Show. Alrighty. Almighty Jack, in the last 2 months, I backed 20 projects. Dang. That's a lot. Like how much that is a lot. Wow. But hey, I mean, some people are seeing this as an alternative to Marvel or DC. I know some people have just given up altogether on Marvel comics, right, Breen?
I was thinking how many big dogs Almighty Jack could have gotten with that.
Okay, did he do the same thing? What were you saying, Breen?
I said I was just thinking. I'm wondering how many big dogs Almighty Jack could have gotten with that scratch.
Oh yeah, like that's actually something I'm going to cut down on my new books for. I'm like, wait a second, I would rather buy one. I've got a deal with my comic shop, so I could buy like a short box full of comics for $150. So I'm thinking, why am I buying a whole bunch of new books when I can buy this to bring out to the auction and everything?
What is going on, everyone? 3, 2, 1, all that jazz. This is Storytime Live. You're watching Ash on Comics, or you're probably watching England Teen live. For those of you that have 2 streams going on because you can't leave that 5-hour stream, which will be funny because I'm sure people like Eric's going to give me flack for going on too long, but he's still over there. I had a little bit of sniping going on. I don't know how long I could get away with that, so I stopped. But, you know, it's kind of fun. I mean, if you guys are really missing it, we can, you know, I can bring it in. We can see it on the screen. RDV is in the house, in both houses. Let's see. Let me get to see who was number 1 today. Melissa, you win the prize. Dragon Majesty is also in the house. Good to see you. LK, good to see you. Lord, also in the house. A little here early. You were late last night. Dragon Ball Talk. So there's a few of you. It's kind of tough because a lot of my audience are people that watch England Teen stream, which is why I scheduled my stream to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays, because these are times that England Teen doesn't stream. So I was trying to avoid that. But what are you going to do? I guess we're going to read some comics tonight. We finished up American Vampire, and I'm a little distracted right now because one of the keys on my keyboard just popped off, and that's not good. Oh, I just clicked it back in, so it's good. Yay! I was a little worried. It was kind of like flapping up, you know, like, so it was still kind of in there, but like the bottom side was flapping up. I was on a laptop. I was like, oh, Jesus, I don't want to. It was the Q key. And so I was sitting here trying to talk, and then I kept looking at it, and I was like, it's really hard to do this when you're thinking about other things. Like, you just, the key to broadcasting like this and just having, constant flow of talking and is to really not think about anything and just anything you think of, just let it just come out your mouth, right? And just, that's how I do it. But how are you guys tonight? We're done with American Vampire. That's what I was saying. And I didn't hear any feedback from anyone. So I apologize if you sent some feedback somewhere and I missed it. I hear there was a big Twitter problem today. So I just made the executive decision to do Marvel Zombies as the replacement book, because American Vampire is done. I mean, it's not done. There's lots more issues. It ran on for quite a while. Shut up, phone. I'm so professional. Sorry about that. But the first story arc is done. It's 5 issues. And Marvel Zombies is only 5 issues as well. So that's going to have to kind of fit in weird with the 13 issue. I need a 3-issue book to pair with the end. So if you need one, that's your guys' job. Well, it's not your job. It's my request. If you guys can find a good Halloween themed or something that fits within Halloween, it doesn't have to be Halloween themed. It's something just that you can remotely fit. Like Hellboy could fit Halloween or something. And you can find a 3-issue or shorter run of something that would be a good read. Then by all means, let me know. And we'll see if we can squeeze that in. Otherwise, I'm going to have to figure something out. All right. Jake's first Marvel Zombie Hero Clicks and very Hero Clicks figure. I don't know. Are you trying to say every Hero Clicks figure? I played Hero Clicks once, like 20 years ago. That game's been around for a long time. I remember it being a pretty fun game, but man, is it like a money sink. I hated the randomness of the figures. At first, it's really cool. You buy these boxes of figures and you open them up, and when you don't have any figures, every figure you get is something you need. You're like, oh, look at this. But then later on, when you have a collection of figures, and then you open up your box and you just spent, I don't even know what they cost nowadays. Like back then, I think it was like $10 a box. And you open it up and it's like, oh, I already have all these figures. I just wasted my money. It was kind of frustrating, but it was a pretty fun game, I remember. Let's see. RDV says, I'm here and there and everywhere. Let's see. Marvel Zombies are my favorite, says Melissa. I love Zombie, Spider-Man, Hulk, Wolverine, Iron Man, Cap. All right, cool. Marvel Zombie says an Evil Dead crossover. I have heard about that. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure I want to brave that or not. I talked about my aversion to mashups in the past. Let's see. We're in the end game now, says Infinity Comics. Greeting. I can't decide if the name I recognize or I don't. But regardless, if you have been here before, Infinity, I haven't seen you often, so welcome. I hope Headpool is in Marvel Zombies. I don't know who Headpool is, Dragon Majesty. Let's see. Dominic says, good evening. Old horror comics like Jason versus Jason X and Nightmare on Elm Street are becoming unobtainable. Well, it's because they probably had super small print runs. And oftentimes books like that don't have a huge demand. And so comic book stores don't like resell them. They don't buy them in people's collections. And then for people who do want them, you can't find them. You're like, I want this book. And you'll go to a comic book store, and you might even go to the comic book store, and they might be like, what are you talking about? I haven't even heard of this book. And yeah, that can make it very unattainable. Let's see. Ash is cool. In it, he fights the Avengers and teams up with Punisher. All right. LK says, I got the perfect book for you, Ash. Well, I want to hear about it. You can either, I take it you don't want to say it out publicly, so hit me up on Twitter or I almost said Instagram. That's not true. I do have an Instagram account. I just never use it. Twitter or Discord. I want Jason X foil comic for $20, slightly damaged. Why do you want it slightly damaged? It was just like, I want that book. Well, it's in mint condition. Damn. I want it damaged. Got the perfect Halloween choice. Greta Thunberg's speech at the UN. How dare you? Oh, man. How dare you? I love that. It's such a great a meme, if you will. I guess I don't know if is it truly a meme? It's a meme. Not used in the normal way. Let's see. Oh man, you guys I got the chat all zoomed in, so it's scrolling by faster than normal. Headpool is a zombified severed head of Deadpool. Really? Oh, okay. I thought it was a typo and I was just being stupid. But you learn something new every day. Marani says low print runs, or in the case of gold and early silver books being destroyed due to controversies or paper drives is what makes those books rare and worth money. Well, it's a big chunk of what makes them worth money. Rarity alone is not something that will make something worth money. It really does help, especially in a collectibles market. But there are books that people just don't give a rat's ass about. And if there's no demand, then even scarcity doesn't work. And there's a lot of books, man, that I got in the 80s that I thought when I came back into comics in 2017, I'm like, oh, I got all these books in my collection. They're probably going to be worth tons of money. They're like worth less than when I bought them. I'm like, oh. Let's see. Slightly damaged because I ain't got $60 from Mint. All right, well, that's an understandable statement. I was just playing off your word. I obviously didn't think you really wanted it slightly damaged. You want a affordable version. Obviously, you would take a Mint copy for the price of a damaged copy. Let's see. Wouldn't turn down both traditional and metallic covers for Iron Man 300 Volume 1. Is Iron Man 300 something special? I mean, obviously it was the 300th issue. It's really weird. It's usually those milestone issues like that tend to be not collectible. It's funny how like a lot of collectors will be, oh, I gotta get the 400th issue of this, and you're like, but why? Oh, it's the 400th issue, and you're like, yeah, but that means more people are gonna buy it, right? Like, how many issues of Detective Comics 1000 sold? A ton. Way more than Detective Comics 999, right? And it didn't have anything important in it. Like, 10 years from now, you're going to be able to get Detective Comics probably for less than cover price. In fact, it's funny. I should have took a picture of it. There was, at my comic book store, there was on, it's a big comic book store, so they have tons of shelves. It's like they had a stack of Detective Comics 1000. It was a stack of what they had bagged all together, like all the variant covers, all the basic variants, not like the ratio variants and stuff, but just the basic. I think there was 10 or 12. It was a pretty hefty stack. There might even been more than that, but it was like 100. I want to say it was like $140. It had like the sticker still on it, and I was just like, who's gonna buy this? Like, $140. This is like where you come back at the store and you look and go, oh, I was one of those people that bought every version of the variant cover. That's $140 that I kind of threw away. like in the moment, you're all excited. You're like, oh, I'm gonna collect this. Oh, it's gonna be great. But it's not. It's not gonna be worth anything. Puppet Master Full Moon comics are the most affordable. You're not speaking my language, Dragon Ball. I don't know any of this stuff. A random Friday the 13th comic is $25. Good Lord, why? I don't get it. Like, even for Halloween or, Friday the 13th fans, I get horror, but not in comics. Like, comics just aren't scary. You can't. I've never read a comic that's been able to successfully instill any sort of fright in me. And if I was gonna read horror, I would want a more like traditional horror story that's not necessarily scary, because horror is not scary. A lot of people conflate the two, like horror. Oh, it's a scary movie. That's horror. Well, not really. Like, you read H.P. Lovecraft, it's not necessarily scary. Although it probably was more scary to people in the 1920s, when you had to use your imagination a lot more for things because they didn't have TV and internet and 3D, it was just like people. But anyways, I digress. The idea of the impending doom, the eeriness of it all, the idea like where your mind, when you have an imagination and you can just like, or you can try to imagine like, what the hell would it be like if I was like, in a Cthulhu story, like if I had to deal with that, it would just be crazy. That dealing with those concepts is what makes horror work for me. And I could do that in a comic book, but Friday the 13th isn't a horror in that sense. It's just a slasher movie. It's meant to scare you about like, oh, there's a killer on the loose and he's killing people. And, for the movies, it's like bump scares, right? The whole thing about the movies is the bump scare. And you can't do that in a comic book. So, but I guess if you're a fan of something, you just want to gobble it up in every form. Let's see. LK says, no love for tarot, Ashton Comics. Every issue is a perfect Halloween issue. I don't know what tarot is. I think I've heard of it. Somehow it's familiar, but let's see. Back in the day, yes, they were actually special. 300, and if I'm not mistaken, has the appearance of Iron Legion. I think that's the name of it, where anyone alive who wore an Iron Man armor wore one. Oh, interesting. All right. I guess I wasn't around for Iron Man 300. I don't remember it. I know like Spider-Man 300 is a big deal. Like it's a really big deal. It's one of those issues. But that was also kind of the introduction of Venom, so it's more than. That was a cool thing. I liked that Spider-Man 300 wasn't just like, hey, it's a 300th issue. Like, it really was special in the terms of story. And that's something they could really go back to, I think. I wish they would go back to. Sorry, I'm distracted on things. Puppet Master Full Moon Comics and Subspecies Full Moon Indie Comics are a fun read. My brother Mike used to collect them in classic DC Marvel. Melissa knows what I like, says Dragon Ball. Ash, do you have any favorite book series? Well, I've been hyping up Brandon Sanderson for a while. He's, in recent years, become a favorite author of mine. So definitely I would hype that up. I am on the third series of his called the Stormlight Archives. Gigantic books, 1,000+ pages each. I'm on the third volume, and I'm loving them. They're awesome. And if you like superhero, I mean, the books themselves aren't superhero books. It's a fantasy novel, but the characters essentially are superheroes. They have powers beyond normal men. Of course, they're magic, but it doesn't really matter. And the story traits are very much what comics embody, the ideas of virtue and justice and things like that. And it really gets me. It's the hero's journey. If I were to describe the books to just simple, it's imagine Star Wars meets Game of Thrones. There's no space stuff, but the hero's journey of Star Wars with Luke Skywalker and characters like Obi-Wan and Yoda and Vader, they have superpowers essentially with the Force. Imagine the hero's journey like of Luke Skywalker mixed with the political intrigue and infighting and stuff of Game of Thrones to a degree. It's not completely, I mean, it's not at that same level, but I think you get what I'm saying. I love it. Also, the first series of his that I read is a superhero book, sorta. It's super powered character, but it's kind of like saying The Boys is a superhero story when all the people are evil. But that book is called the book was called Steelheart, the first book, but the series is called The Reckoners, and it's a trilogy, and they're not giant books. They're like 300 or 400 pages each. And it's a trilogy. Steelheart, Firefight, and Calamity are the name of the 3 books. And it's awesome. Imagine the whole idea is that the world, and I apologize to people who've heard me say this before, the world, one day this red star appeared in the sky, and the people named it Calamity because they didn't know what it was. And then after Calamity appeared and stayed there, people started having superpowers. And then the hook is that every person who develops superpowers, which the book calls epics, every epic, without fail, becomes evil. So there are superpowered people, but it's like The Boys in some sense, where like the 7, they're all evil. It's like everyone who gets powers is evil. And very similar to The Boys, those that have more power are more evil. Like, so there's different levels of epics. They're called high epics. Is just like high epics would be like the equivalent of like an Omega mutant. The high epics, they're the most evil. The minor epics, like a minor epic might be someone who can change their skin color. Like, oh, look, I can make my skin tan. I can make it white. Like I have a really silly power that's like almost useless. They usually just are like bad-tempered kind of dicks. And so the level of evil. Anyways, so the main character is a kid, and starts off as a kid in the prologue, and his dad gets killed by the character Steelheart's one of the high epics. But in the process of the reason he gets killed is because he makes Steelheart bleed, and Steelheart kills him. Steelheart is essentially Superman, but he can turn himself into steel, like Colossus, and he can turn anything he touches into steel. So he's invulnerable. Anyways, the whole point is the book then fast forwards 10 years. This kid's been an orphan. There's been like a World War III because the humans tried to fight back against the epics. They lost. So now it's kind of post-apocalyptic. The high epics rule the world in these like fiefdoms. And Steelheart has claimed Chicago as his kingdom. And this kid now is 10 years older. He's like 18 or 20 or whatever. He's about that age. And he's all he's done for the past 10 years is like plot on how to kill him. And he's heard about this mythical group of resistance fighters called the Reckoners that he believes is out there that are hunting down epics. But anyways, it's a fun story, and each book is sort of a little bit different than the next. It doesn't just keep rehashing the same story over and over again, which is one thing I love about Brandon Sanderson is he tells different stories, but within the same world. And so when you think you kind of know, like I read this book, like, oh, okay, so on the next book, he's kind of going to follow the same formula. He doesn't. And his books change. And man, when I got through the third book, brought a tear to my eye. I'm not going to kid you. And then the other series I read of his, I'm not going to go into as much detail on that one, is called Mistborn. And Mistborn, I think, is probably a better series in terms of writing than the Reckoners. But Reckoners just has a real place in my heart because I love soups, and it was a unique story. Mistborn is just a little bit more of a traditional fantasy novel, fantasy world story, but it's really cool. And I recommend those completely. Other authors I'm huge on. Michael Crichton is one of my favorite all-time authors. I like Tom Clancy, but he's so intimidating to get into reading his books. Those are the ones I read earlier in my years, like when I was in my 20s. Dune is one of my favorite books of all time. And Ender's Game. If you haven't read Ender's Game, absolutely read Ender's Game. Please don't see the movie without reading the book first. Please. Like, you will ruin opportunity to enjoy one of the best sci-fi books ever written. I hope that doesn't happen. That's one of my main grievance of that movie. I walked out of the theater and I was like, damn, there's going to be a lot of people that see this and they won't have read the book. And now they won't be able to ever experience the book in the right way. I was like, I was pissed. I was like, this movie should have never been made. Let's see. Look up Tarot, Witch of the Black Rose on Comixology, Ash. Oh, yes, sir. Right away, sir. Tarot. Can't just explain. You couldn't just explain what it was. You make me do homework. All right. This looks like something that I would never read. At least not by choice. But I don't know. Oh, there's some unlimited ones. Oh, maybe. I might have to just at least maybe one issue. Remind me. Oh man. Let's see. Why do I have YouTube? No, not YouTube. I clicked on the wrong. I clicked on England Teens thing. Are they still going? Let's get back there. They are still going. What the frick? What the hell?
Somebody's a little teed off at my thumbnail. LK saying I resent.
Look
Warren
who's over there
Ellis being
too,
on the
Eric
list
and.
because today we're talking about.
Wait, is this?
comic book artists and
Oh, is this a
writers who used
replay? Never mind. I retract. I retract my statements. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm all discombobulated. I'm not even at home right now. I'm house sitting for a friend, so I don't even have my normal setup. I'm all uncomfortable. I am literally uncomfortable. I'm sitting on this hard ass chair. I don't have my office chair. Should I take a drink? My refreshment today. This episode brought to you by Cactus Cooler. Have you guys ever had Cactus Cooler? It is a soda. I haven't seen it anywhere outside of California, but then again, I haven't looked that hard. I was living in Colorado, man. The whole time I was there, they never had it. And I was like, I couldn't. It was an old favorite drink of mine. And I moved back to California. I was like, oh, Cactus Cooler. I forgot about this. So I was at the store today, and it was on sale for 99 cents for a 2-liter. I was like, oh, yeah, I'll pick that up. It's good. It's an orange pineapple soda. So take that whatever you will. It's pretty tasty. Or you may hate it. Who knows? Yeah, I might have to. Okay. I might forget. I should probably write that down somewhere. I don't have anything to write down right now. Also, back in the day, they have regular issue, which was $1. The next issue was a king size special and cost $1.50. Oh, you're talking about for like the specials, like the 300 issues. Yeah. Yeah. Now today, it's like, special issue. Oh God. Speaking of special, Spider-Man. Oh my God. How do you go? I just love how it's like Spider-Man 49, special 850th issue next month, special 50th issue. You're like, wait, what? Last month was the 850th issue. How is this the special 50th issue? Only Marvel could be that fucking brazen with their exploitation of their fans. Just speaking of Marvel zombies, that's what it is. The people who buy that shit are Marvel zombies. They're just like, they're like Biden Biden voters, right? It doesn't matter that Biden's been caught taking money from Ukraine and China and Russia and lying about it, like publicly, like, oh no, I don't have anything to do with that. And dude, your son is over there getting billions of dollars using his name and your name. And he was the company he was working for, Burisma, was being investigated. And you went over there and told them to fire the investigator. No, I didn't ever do that. I don't know what you're talking about. No, we have you on video of you doing it. You did it. And guess what? They did fire him. And then the investigation went away. And billions of dollars changed hands. And then just recently, yesterday, New York Post released leaked documents, emails confirming that there's lies. And then Twitter deleted, they censored the posts. And then the U.S. government, the House of Representatives, the U.S. government website, house.gov, they posted a link to it, saying like, here you go, here's the link, a little article, and then at the bottom was a link to it. And then Twitter banned the House. They didn't ban them, but they suspended, like you couldn't go to that link. A U.S. government website, Twitter censored. You can't go to the government website now. And so that's why I say Marvel zombies are like Biden voters, because it doesn't matter. Biden could go out murdering children in the middle of the street. CNN and NBC and ABC and NBC and all these other corrupt corporate news outlets owned by the richest corporations in America, who don't have your interest at heart at all. Absolutely do not have your interest at heart. Will defend him, because they know if he gets elected, they're going to get to keep doing their criminal enterprise. The reason they want to get rid of Trump is because he's having people investigated. He's not bought and sold. He's not on the payroll. The whole thing that's going on in Washington right now is very much the same thing that goes on with crooked cops. And it's ironic because all the people that hate Trump and support the Democrats or whatever are the same people that are crying about police brutality and the police system, defund the police because it's crooked. So you obviously have the ability to discern evil and wrongness. It's the same thing that's going on in a corrupted. If you ever seen the movie Serpico, it's a movie you should see. Like, Serpico will make you go, fuck, defund the police. Holy shit. It's based on a true story. A dude named Serpico. It's Al Pacino plays the character. And he discovers police corruption in New York. I think it was like in the 80s. And it's so rampant, there's nothing that can be done. And the whole thing, like the police on the take, if any cop that's honest either gets killed, That might be the extreme way. Gets killed or gets fired or something, because none of the dirty cops like an honest cop being around. Because the honest cop might rat them out. They're not on the take. But if you're on the take, then you fit in, you're fine, because you can't rat on them because you're in on it too. And that's what's going on in Washington right now. That's what the whole swamp thing is. And that's all these corporations are getting away with all sorts of evil and crime, and they've bought out the politicians, and they're all part of it. And any politician who's not a part of that game is target number one. This is why Tulsi Gabbard was blasted out of the Democrats right away, because I believe she's not one of these people. She's a normal, I mean, no one's perfect, but she's not part of the criminal activity. So that fucking absolutely, you can't be a part of this. And once she's gone, and of course it's Biden and Harris, the two most corrupt people besides Hillary, who wasn't running. It's like they had to find a way to, get rid of Bernie too, because Bernie's doing his damnedest to bootlick, like from the last election. I mean, literally the Democrats got caught red-handed framing the election. They literally just picked Hillary, even though Bernie was winning. They're like, super delegates. Hillary, you're the nomination. It's like, but Bernie's got more delegates. Doesn't matter. It's rigged. And then this year it happened again. Bernie was dominating, and then out of the blue, all of a sudden, Biden, who wasn't getting any votes, nothing, just started winning. And Bernie was getting no votes. And it was like, that's weird. And again, I don't support any of these guys. I'm not trying to make who's better than who, but it just follow the corruption. And Kamala Harris, she had 1% of the support. I don't even think she was like one of the bottom of the barrel. She had less than Elizabeth Warren, I think. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, she's the VP pick. Oh, what a shocker. The two most corrupt people that are going to keep letting all the criminals do whatever they want, they're the ones that elected. And it's just this criminal enterprise. It's like watching the mafia in action. Anyway, sorry. I'm out of a trance now. I get that way. Probably lost a million viewers. If that bothers you, I do apologize. I don't want to bother anyone, but I'm being true to myself. Let's see. Melissa says, "Is Peter and MJ still married? I wish one more day in House of M never happened." You and most Marvel fans, Melissa. But, as long as Joe Q's up there in charge, they're going to keep taking advantage of you. That's the nice way to put it. My favorite part of the stream was when Ash read comics. Wonder if I should do that sometime. Yes, Ash, you should try reading comics again, just for fun. Says Dragon Majesty. Rex here. Oh, God, I just turned into Ash's political rant. But seriously, if anyone was on the Trump-Russia gate, they should be all over this. But they won't. And that's a good point. Like, I'm going to make no bones about it. Like, I do support Trump. Mostly because it's the Democrats. I didn't support Trump before. And Trump is a Democrat. People forget that, too. Trump was a beloved Democrat, part of the Hillary campaign. There's all sorts of photos of Trump and Melania and palling it up with Bill and Hillary. But as soon as he ran for president, it was like, he's evil. Oh, that's funny. He wasn't evil when you were taking his money. And it's not about me trying to promote someone over someone else. It's about good and evil. And this is how I'm going to tie this into comic books. And this is the reason I read comic books. And I hope most of you, the reason why you read comic books. When I was a kid, I was brought to understand good and evil. And comics were my outlet. When I discovered comics, I was like, these are the most, I don't want to say profound. That's probably not the right word. But they're the most, maybe poignant. I guess, they were perfect for me at that age, being 13 years old, and being able to read stories about virtue, heroism. And today, that's shaped me as an adult. And I look and go, look, Trump's probably a big fucking asshole. Like, the dude's multi-millionaire or billionaire. I'm sure he's just not this great, good-hearted fellow, but he's not a politician. And what I care about is I don't want to see corrupt evil keep running this country. I mean, anyways, I am going political and I don't want to do that. But it's not about pushing the Trump train. That's not what I'm doing at all. I'm just trying to say, please, I don't care if you're liberal or you're conservative. Just don't support evil because it's your party. At least have the dignity and integrity to just see past that. Question: after 77 episodes, is this really a new experimental live stream where you read a bedtime story or two? Yeah. What of it, RDV? Are you challenging me? Ronnie says, actually, I believe that Serpico was based on a cop named Toma, who also had a TV series on his life. I thought his name was Serpico. It was like his last name. I could be wrong. I haven't seen the movie in a long time. But yeah. Doug Johnson. Hey, what's up, buddy? He says, it sounds like a labor union. Surprise, labor unions are evil. Yes. Labor unions are a like microcosm of kind of how it works, but and even a smaller microcosm, homeowners association. And if anyone's dealt with a homeowners association, you want to know in the face of what evil looks like, look at those fucking bastards. Homeowners association is where Nazis are. It's where the ineffective Nazis go to ruin people's lives. I can never have any position of power, so I'm going to join this homeowners association and screw people out of their homes because they mowed their lawn incorrectly. Stupid. I hate homeowners associations. Let's see. What's funny is I was recommended to watch Serpico through a movie called Spencer Confidential on Netflix. Have you ever read Thunderbolts? That was a weird transition. No, I haven't read Thunderbolts because I don't like reading. Transition. Sorry. I read comics for heroes. This is why I don't read Suicide Squad. Despite it's got one of the coolest title names of a comic book, Suicide Squad just sounds awesome. Ever since I first heard that name, I was like, there's a comic called Suicide Squad? That sounds awesome. But no, I'm like, why do I want to read about bad people? And Thunderbolts is villains. No, it's not for me. I just don't get it. I don't want to read stories where the protagonist is a bad guy who doesn't have virtue. It's not entertaining to me. Now, sometimes you can do a good story. I'm not saying it can never be done, but comics usually is not the venue for it. Comics is for adventure stories, like long-term storytelling. If you want to tell a story of that nature, make it a concise story in a book or a movie. I think that's the best way to do it. Ronnie says, no, the cop was Frank Serpico, a real cop. Google is my friend. No, Maranya, Google is not your friend. Do you remember when Google used to have the motto, do no evil? Did you know they took that down? They used to have like a plaque or whatever in their corporate headquarters that said, do no evil. Or no, don't be evil. That was it. Don't be evil. That was their one of their official corporate mottos, and they took it down. Imagine how fucked up you have to be to go, no, this clashes with our mission now. Like any company in the world goes, don't be evil. Oh, we can't have that. Like, I don't get it. Why would you have to take that down? Even if you were like, we want to be a little unscrupulous, we're okay with a little corruption, you could still keep the sign up because you just be deceitful. You're like, no, we want to be true to who we are. We want to be evil. Take it down. It's like, wow. It's crazy. That's one of the craziest things that they took that down. Let's see. Toma was another cop in Serpico's mold, and the real cop actually guest appeared in the Toma TV show. I don't doubt that there's more. I'm sure Frank Serpico wasn't the only good cop in America, right? But his story just happened to be one of those ones that, made for I guess a good movie. Read Mortal Kombat comics, Dragon Ball says. You missed on the auction. E had a quarter auction today, And he had Mortal Kombat #1 for a quarter. I was like, where's Dragon Ball? You could get this book. Let's see. Gosh, I hate when the YouTube thing like scrolls all the way down and I'm like, wait, where was I? Craven got cloned by kids. He only lived as a new Craven. Okay. Pringles shaped me as an adult, said Eric Green. They continue to shape you, am I right? Man, this Longbow Hunters comic is very adult. I need a smoke. I remember my first adult comic. It's like Venkman's growing up. That's tasty. If you need reasons to vote for Trump, no wars, peace in the Middle East, arrested more traffickers than any previous admin. Oh, there's so many reasons to vote for Trump. It's unbelievable. Most people just don't know about him because the news doesn't tell you. So whenever he does anything good, it's completely like you have to dig for it. You have to be like a Trump supporter to like know, and it's like spread through word of mouth because all the major outlets mum's the word. And then of course what you do here is just nonstop blah 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 blah. Did you hear Trump said to drink bleach? No, he never actually said that, but thanks for just making shit up out of thin air and constantly spitting it out. And then now everyone that follows your shit is just on Twitter nonstop, blah, 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 sounding like Neil Adams. It's crazy. To me, it's a case of like, well, I'm gonna use a Star Wars reference here. Like, you watch the movie Star Wars or any of the Star Wars films, the main ones, not the Disney crap, and you go, it's pretty obvious who the bad guy is right here. Darth Vader, Emperor Palpatine, like scum of the earth, like evil. But it's interesting because in the prequels, like the way that they kind of take over is by framing the Jedi. They basically do fake news on the Jedi and like the Jedi are actually the bad guys. And you're like, yeah, but I just see you with like lightning frying people and you're building this Death Star super weapon and you're leading an insurrection against the Republic. Like the Star Wars prequel is funny. The Star Wars prequels are pretty flawed, but looking back in hindsight, you're like, holy shit, it's exactly what happened. It's if you go watch the Star Wars prequels and look at Senator Palpatine as the Democrats, and you look at the clones, not the clones, the segregationists. Look at the segregationists as like BLM and Antifa, and they're totally working for Palpatine so that he can defeat them and turn the Republic into the Empire. That's what's happening today. And it's funny because you watch these groups like BLM and Antifa and they're like, whoa, and the Democrats are like, oh yeah, we'll bail them out and we're supporting them. And it to the average normie looks at them and goes, oh yeah, the Democrats support these. The Democrats don't support these. The Democrats want a race war. They love BLM because their ultimate dream would be for blacks and whites to get so fed up with each other that they actually do start killing each other. And then the Democrats can come in and be like, oh, what are we supposed to do? Like, you know, and just kind of walk in and be like, oops, I guess look what the Republicans did. Like, and then it's all over. Well, I guess it's, you know, and that's what they do. They create the destruction and then they come in at the end and claim to have saved the day and be the saviors of it. They were the fathers of slavery in the United States. And then they're the ones today that claim to be like, we undid slavery and civil rights. It's like, no, you didn't. You fought to keep slavery, literally, in Civil War I. And then in the Civil Rights Act, you voted against it. But you control the schools, so you're going to teach the kids that you're the good guys, and it's the Republicans who are against. It's exactly. Sorry, you got me all stirred up again, triggered. Thunderbolts is a redemption story. The majority of ex-villains truly became heroes. All right, Eric Breen. Maybe one day I'll have to read Thunderbolts. If it's a redemption, I do like a good redemption story. That's one of the things I love about Hawkman. Hawkman happens to be one of the most despicable bad people in the DC universe. But he's in a redemption story, and it's done really well. See, I'm talking about comic books. My first adult comic book was one by Phil Foglio. I remember him. Man, Maranya. That feels like a long time ago. Trevor Noah is a mainstream media, should be sued by Trump for slanderous behavior. Oh, I know, but if you hide it in a comedy, then you're kind of protected. Oh, it's just parody and satire. Sad. All right, don't trigger me anymore. It's up to you guys to not talk about politics. I'm trying to get off, but I'm like an alcoholic, and you keep feeding me alcohol. I can't resist it. LK says, I agree, Dominic. I suggested number 23 because Ash says he doesn't like reading about villains. Number 23. Oh, start with 23 Thunderbolts. Good redemption story, especially with Songbird. Really? Like one issue? I only have to read one issue? It seems like that would be a weak story, but maybe I'm just used to modern comics that need like 80 issues, Tom King, to tell your Batman story. God, I feel salty tonight. In the upcoming Civil War, Captain Marvel will nuke the Republicans. Oh my God. Is it just me, or does Captain Marvel and Stormfront from The Boys feel like the same character? Talk about the new Batman cartoon movie, Death in the Family, it's named. But I haven't seen the new Batman cartoon movie because I don't really watch cartoons. I don't say that to be elitist. I don't really understand the appeal. Okay, now granted, I'm in my mid 40s. So I guess I do understand, because if I were in my 20s, I'd probably be like, yeah, or even younger. Like I would be like, oh, cool. But the comics I read the comics. To me, the cartoons are all inferior, with the exception of Batman the Animated Series. But that's an anomaly. And I never understood the idea of like wanting to get the inferior experience. I'd rather read a good Batman comic like Death in the Family. Let's see. LK says, yep, Hawkman was so evil in DC that he got chased to Marvel. What? Wait, I didn't follow that one. Remember that time when Ash read comics? That was cool, man. Those were the days. Now he's just Ash on politics. You weren't here. You missed like 50 episodes before you came along, RDV. Now you're talking like you're some old veteran. You got to earn your place here. Like Breen, am I right? Stop watching that baseball rerun. It says, LK says, no, start at issue 23. That's when Hawkeye comes in and ultimately joins the Thunderbolts to lead them and keep them on the straight and narrow. So is issues 1 through 22 just a bunch of nonsense then? Like they're just like a bunch of crooks and they're like degenerate. And on issue 23, they're like, all right, now we're going to change. Let's see. Tom King ruined Rorschach, my favorite. He didn't ruin. Okay, Melissa, come on. Melissa is like itchy on the trigger finger, man. I love you, Melissa, but he didn't ruin. We don't even know if Rorschach was even in the comic. We don't even. Well, I guess we kind of have reason to believe. Like, the comic was not fun to read, but he didn't ruin any character yet. I mean, cross your fingers yet, because he could. I'm not saying he can't, but nothing's been ruined yet. Dragon Ball says, well, it's good. It's got Robin being killed graphically by Joker. It's like a hardcore animated comic. But why don't you just read the comic? I don't know. I always find the animated movies and stuff to be vastly inferior. And I feel like it's, and I'm not saying this to sound judgmental or anything, but I feel like it's the lazy way out. It's like, I don't want to be bothered to read, so I'm going to watch this movie. And you're going to settle for the inferior experience because reading's too hard. I just, and I get it. I mean, there's plenty of movies I'll go see the movie and I don't read the book because reading's too hard. Like, so I get it, but honestly, don't ever see Ender's Game unless you've read the book. Actually, even if you've read the book, Ender's Game's not that good. So read the book is freaking phenomenal. Like it should not be missed. It's one of the best books I've ever read. So that's kind of how I think about it. And I go, if the comic book is that good, why would I want to miss it? Right? I can go watch the Batman Year One cartoon, but why would I miss the comic book? And if the comic book's not that good, why do I care about the cartoon? Let's see. Eric says, start with issue 1. Batman got like 7 great animated films, all violent and bloody. To ever saw Batman Bad Blood, perfect for Halloween. Batman Bad Blood is actually one of the Batman cartoons I have seen, the animated features. And it's just okay to me. Like I watch it and go, And I can see like the people who are fans of the movies, and I remember what it's like to be that way. Like when I was growing up as a kid and watching animated stuff. Like I can remember seeing the Transformers animated movie in theaters. One of the greatest movie experiences of my life. I think I was probably like 13. I feel like I was about that old, 12 or 13. And the movie theater was like a mile from my house. And me and my buddy, we rode our bikes down to it to see it. And we saw it like, it was like almost no one in the theater. It was like Transformers, the movie. Like back in the 80s, it was not like today. Like cartoons absolutely were for kids, always. And cartoon movies, like the kids today are spoiled with, you got your DreamWorks and your Pixar and, of course Disney's back, and like you got so many like animated movies these days. Like back then it was like maybe Disney was doing a movie, maybe actually even Disney was kind of not. They were like on the outs because they hadn't come. Disney didn't make its big return till Little Mermaid, which I think was like the late 80s, it was early 90s. I was like, I think 1990. So yeah, you didn't even have it. So Transformers came out, and no one was going to see Transformers. Like no regular normie adult, but kids who watched the after school cartoons of Transformers, like me and my buddy, we were like, yeah. And I saw that movie and walked out of that theater high as a kite. It's still one of my favorite movie experiences of all time. Just blown away. But my point of my story is I can relate to the experience. I can understand the love of that. But when I see these comic book movies, they're never more than just mildly entertaining to me. And when I read the original book that it's based on, like The Killing Joke, it's better. Like it's like I go, why? I just don't understand. And I do understand that comics suck. So you go, oh, well, comics today suck, Ash. Well, yeah, but they're not making movies out of the shitty comics, right? You're not making America Chavez, the animated show. Sorry, Breen. Although I would kind of watch that, especially if it was based on the Gabby Rivera Chavez. That would be actually really awesome. So I retract everything I just said. Moving on. Crisis on Two Earths. Slept on, says Skip and Tosh. What's up, Skip? Reading has too many words, says Eric. Eric likes the pictures. That's why he doesn't read Bendis. The pictures are too covered up with words. In a dark room late at night, I'm exhausted. I'd rather watch animation. That's why I watch comic videos on YouTube, like Comics Explained. Too exhausted to sit and read something. I'm not understanding that. By the way, I would recommend getting yourself a good tablet. I know not everyone has in the budget to get like an iPad Pro, which is what I use. Which I only use it because of the screen. I would if Apple just made a basic iPad or even Android had a 12-inch screen, I would get that. But them's the breaks. Amazon, I don't know if it's still on sale. I posted on Twitter. Their Fire HD 10.1 inch was on sale for like $79 for Prime Day. I think Prime Day might be over. I'm like, it's a steal. $79. This is what I don't hardly read any comics physically anymore. And I understand the love of reading physically, but I can read in bed at night. I don't need lights on. I can read with Cheeto fingers. I don't have to worry about falling asleep and rolling over on my comic. It's amazing. And it works perfectly because I like to read my comics with soundtracks. I pair music with my comics, usually like music scores or some such. And I got the music built in. I mean, it's a multimedia device. This is why I use my iPad for. It's just a media streamer. And I recommend that. And you can also watch videos. I watch stuff on it too. Let's see. Transformers animated movie is awesome. I also saw it in theater. Man, then you know what I'm talking about. 13 years old, coming out, especially from the afternoon TV show. It was fine. Like for me as a kid, I was like, yeah, the TV show. But seeing the movie and like people were dying and stuff, I was like, what? They just killed Optimus Prime. Spoiler alert. They just, like I was like, what is going on? It was amazing. Batman Death in the Family is out for sale. Looks good. All right. I think it's going to get a lot of lazy comic fans who aren't really comic fans to not read Jim Starlin's Death in the Family. And they're just going to watch the show and be like, yeah, okay. Dominic Powell says, I love Justice League Crisis on Tour. It's not only did Dwayne McDuffie work on it before his death, but originally it was supposed to be a prequel to Justice League Unlimited after Justice League. Eric says, unsubbed. Again. How many times is Eric going to unsub from me? Transformers had a undead Prime who came back from his death in Transformers. What? No, he didn't come back in. What? You're talking about something else. In the Transformers, original Transformers, the movie, Optimus Prime died. He's dead. Dead is dead. And by the way, there is no Transformers after Generation 1. That's it. This other shit's nonsense. Although Netflix has a Transformers series coming out that I'm going to give a shot because Netflix has a tendency once in a while to do some really good things. Killing Joke, the graphic novel, does not suck. I like the ambiguity of its ending. Killing Joke is one of the most highly acclaimed books of all time. I'm not sure I would consider it a graphic novel. It's like a one-shot comic, but whatever. In the Indiegogo Comicsgate terms, it's a graphic novel. I think it's like a 64-page comic, and that's all it takes for them to call it a graphic novel. Let's see. Transformers the movie Backlash ruined G.I. Joe the movie being released in the theater and kept Duke alive. The G.I. Joe movie did not compare at all. At all. It was like night and day. I'm watching E talk with Donnie Cates on Twitter. Okay. That's exciting. Let's get on with some comics. Marvel Zombies. Did you know that Robert Kirkman started off at Marvel? You probably did. But in case you didn't, and did you know that he did a zombie book at Marvel before he did The Walking Dead? You may not have known that. Well, he did. And this is it. And it's called Marvel Zombies. Quick disclaimer, I have never read Marvel Zombies, not a single issue of any of it, and I don't really know anything about it. So I'm about to do a cold read, which I'll probably fuck up, but hopefully you're drinking something a little stronger than a soda, and then you won't mind the F-ups. Remember, kids, it's always better to watch Ash on Comics with beer goggles on. All right, let us start the show before Venkman gets his fifis hurt. Sorry, Venkman. This one's for you, buddy. Marvel Zombies. Ooh. Part 1 of 5. It worked. The machine has been destroyed. It ends here. Those monsters, they're trapped in this dimension. Yeah, we're trapped here all right, with you. Dun, dun, dun. That's a pretty good hook, I gotta say. By the second page, you're already like, what the F? Face it, Mags. There's no way out. Do you really want to go to all the trouble of fighting us off when you could just succumb to the inevitable and give up? I know you're not looking forward to being devoured, but I give you my word. If you surrender, I'll make sure you die painlessly first. Screw that. I want to hear this one squeal. The fight is half the fun. I've been waiting for this. Wait a second, how did Wolverine turn into a zombie? That's weird. I guess we'll have to keep reading. Just submit. We can see you're about to pass out. You're a wreck. This is only going to end badly. Why put yourself through one last struggle? There's plenty of fights still left in me. Shriek. Sprink, scrack. Scrag, shriek. You think you can get away from us? All it takes is one bite and it's all over. You're only making this harder on yourself. Out of webbing, crap. Oh, good. You brought the shield. Shrack. Oh, jeez. I broke my leg. Like in half. Boom. Look at what the punk did to me. If we catch him, when we catch him, I get double rations. Nice. Magneto with Captain America's shield. Oof. Wump. Come on, Magnus. You were the most powerful mutant alive before you were the only mutant alive. You can beat this. Find a place to hide. Heal. That's all you need. Come on. They're watching the skies. I'm going to have to walk out of here. I need to. Beep, beep. You. It can't be. When I lost contact with you, I thought you had... The attack damaged a lot of our systems, but we're able to fend them off. Eventually. We were just able to reestablish our communication system moments ago, sir. I apologize for the loss in contact. You survived? You're alive? Not all of us survived. There are 12 of us up here on Asteroid M. Oh, sorry, but Asteroid M is very much intact and very much operational. I thought we had lost. I thought it was over. But if you're alive, there could be others. We have to organize, rebuild, plan. There is much to be done. Should I send the shuttle down to get you? No. I'll come up to you. Somehow. I can't talk now. We're on radio silence until you hear from me again. It's not safe here. Understood. Ugh. Here, I found him. It's mutant on the menu tonight. Not yet, it isn't. Ugh. Throck. Thunk. That's a nice shot. Ugh. I'll take that. Keep it. Thram. Why, Magneto? Why put yourself through all this? It is clear to me, mutant, that thou dost not know when thou art defeated. I could say the same about you. Gack. Oh, jeez. Oh. Thram. If I can only move them a little. Creak. Doom. Crash through. I think it's safe to say you idiots underestimated me. What made you think I am an easy target? I am the master of magnetism, and we're surrounded by steel and concrete. I'll outlive you all. Did you really think you could defeat me? Ah, chum. Famous last words. Yes. I thought it was a pretty safe bet. Keep that piece in your mouth. We'll shrink down in a minute and share it. Share? Ha! A piece this size could last me days if I shrink down. Damn woman, get back. Stand aside. I hope you choke on me. Stop fighting over him. There's enough for us all to have a peace. Mine. No, Hulk is hungriest. Mutant man is Hulk's food. Hulk's man broke. That's all you get, Hulk. You get a whole leg to yourself. You don't want to fight us. We're going to share the rest. Okay. And so, Magneto was devoured. And the greatest mystery of the Marvel Universe was answered. What do mutants taste like? They taste like chicken. Sorry, that was me ad-libbing. Still hungry? I might not be Hulk right now, but I'm just as infected as you. I'd taste about as good as your own arm. Just wait until half of what you ate falls falls past that arrow in your throat and you'll be fine. Thanks for throwing some back to me, whoever did it. I couldn't get up there with my leg broken as it is. Just thank luck. If any fell back toward you during the feeding frenzy, it was an accident, I promise. I don't suppose any of you doctors here would be able to tell me if you think my leg is going to heal, would you? Anyone? I wouldn't even attempt to guess. We have no clue how this works. Just look at me. I'm certainly not digesting any of this. I felt my stomach rip as soon as I transformed back into Banner. I don't know if I even would be digesting it if my stomach hadn't burst. We feel no pain, that's for sure. Your stomach certainly doesn't hurt you. Thor has an arrow through his neck, but he's fine otherwise. And Spider-Man is practically missing a leg. What about me? I clearly don't have a heart, but I am still fine. Near as I can tell, my only gripe is a little swelling in the ankles. Let me see that. Oh my, that's not just swelling, Daredevil. Since your heart's stopped pumping blood, gravity is forcing it down into your lower extremities. Your legs are filled with blood. Well, that's just going to slow me down. Can I just puncture my legs and drain them if it's not pumping anyway? Not while you're sitting next to me, you can't. So it seems pretty clear our bodies aren't working like they used to. Or even at all in some cases. My healing factor ain't doing squat, that's for sure. We're dead, but we're not dying. Simple as that, and I ain't no doctor. From the evidence we've got here, I'm going to assume that as long as our brains are intact and functioning, we'll continue on as is. Although we do appear to be decomposing. I'd rethink that theory on the brain. I've got evidence to the contrary. Colonel America, your brains are hanging out of your head. Not all of them. That proves nothing. The human body can continue to function after wounds like that, depending on what part of the brain that is. Did anyone find Hawkeye's head? That might make for a useful study. Will you listen to us? Dear God, what have we become? Here we go again. I ate my wife. My aunt. Why? Why did I do that? Spider-Man, please. There's not a person here who didn't eat a loved one. All the Avengers had a piece of Jarvis. He almost didn't fight it. It was horrific. But we only have so long after we eat where our thoughts aren't clouded by the hunger. And I think we've established that there is no food. We should use this time to figure things out. I don't want to figure anything out. I think I just want to die. Well, you can't right now. So stop interrupting while we try to think. Guys, I think a bone is about to push through me. I can feel it. I don't want a hole in me. I really don't. Can one of you punch me or try to eat me or something so I turn into the Hulk before this happens? Thwack! It's not working. I feel no brain not turning. Okay. I'm not desensitized enough for that. Ugh, it's bobbing through. I can feel it. It doesn't hurt, but I can feel it. Ugh. Wait, what was that? Did anyone else see that? That was a bone popping through Banner's stomach, making a hole big enough for a part of Magneto to fall out. We all saw that. In fact, Thor is leaning over to eat some of that right now. No, you idiot. In the sky. I thought I saw something fly by. I don't see anything, Cage. What was it that you saw? Nice. Love me some Silver Surfer. Was that what I think it was? That is what I saw, jerk. Yeah, more food. What a cliffhanger. Nice. This is a fun book. Oh my god. Because it wouldn't be Comixology if it didn't crash every time you tried to use it. That's the doggy door. I don't know if you hear it on the mic. If it's loud, I apologize. Let's see. There we go. Rate the book. Borrow the next one. There we go. And now exit the reader. Go back to the chats. All right. Where were we? See, Ronnie says, no, it's a graphic novel in the old school definition of a story that was supposed to be out of continuity, like Emperor Doom and a few others put out of Marvel. Well, no, but that's not what graphic novel means. It doesn't mean out of continuity. But regardless. Optimus Prime became a zombie and died again and was buried again in a tomb in one episode. You're speaking of non-existent Transformers lore to me. I do not recognize. RDV says, I'm already reading a comic. Oh my goodness. Bitch and moan, whine, read a comic, Ash. Then I read a comic and he goes and reads his own books. This is why you never give in to terrorism. Sorry, that was a PSA. I remember watching Transformers the movie in elementary school. It got me into the Transformers franchise since then. Yeah. Do you remember the cool 80s soundtrack? You got the touch. Remember that? It was a cheesy 80s soundtrack. It's super 80s. Like, not the good 80s, like the super cheesy. Like what the people in the 80s thought the 80s sounded like. You got the power. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Ronnie says, are you going to full screen this comic? Maybe. Now that it's over. Sorry about that. I told you I would screw up, and I did. I should do like the Skip and Tosh thing. He's really good about reading a couple pages, looking at chat, reading a couple, like, I'm bad at that. And I'm really bad at navigating through my windows. There we go. Dragon Ball says, this is a good book. This is hardcore too. Thumbs up. Finally reading something that Dragon Ball can appreciate. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Remember, okay, let's see. Dinner time, a Magneto meat dish. Let's see. Oh boy, Marvel Zombies, the stuntiest of stunt comics, says Gigamock. Welcome, buddy. Good to see you. This is a Halloween theme, so I figure Marvel Zombies was appropriate. Doing a cold read, I wasn't sure if I should have the characters speak with like zombie voices or if they should just have like normal voices. There's really no indication. I guess you could read it however you want it. So I kind of just started fading to normal voices at the end because they seem to be coherent. They didn't seem to be like brains, they just... But I wasn't sure, so I guess it would have helped if I'd have read first. But you guys don't deserve that level of quality. Ronnie says, "Oh no, here comes the wasp." Yeah, that was a I saw that coming. That was a nice foreshadowing when he's just like, "Oh, you'll never stop me." Oops. You never see the little ones coming. There were some cool scenes though. I like Magneto using Captain America's shield as like a death frisbee. Well, I wanted to see more of that actually. But I guess he was drained of most of his power. If he was at full strength, he would have just had that thing zipping around back and forth, just slicing and dicing. Let's see. The only person reading Halloween comics right here, and I saw you on YouTube this week, said Dragon Ball Talk. All right, cool. Honestly, I thought she was going to fly down his throat. Yeah, I didn't know what was going to happen. That would have been interesting too. Like if she like bit him inside. Like, how do you stop that? Like, oops, you're inside me. She bites him in the stomach or something. Let's see. Magneto was so close in making it out of this alive, right? You just knew, though. I knew he was going to bite it as soon as he said, like, and they're like, so we shouldn't have shuttled down to get you? And he's like, no, I'll get there myself somehow. And I was like, he ain't making it. He's like, I've read enough Robert Kirkman at this point to be like, famous last words, you are not making it. And it's a little bit formulaic, but it's a good story trope to like take away hope. Like you put some hope in the reader and be like, oh, and then take it away. And then the reader's like, oh no, now what are you going to do? But apparently there's some mystery survivors on Asteroid M. And I don't know who they are because I've never read this. And if you've never read this either, then you're in for a treat like me. And if you have read it, you already know the story. So you don't get to experience it again for the first time. Unless you're Joe Biden. That's the advantage of being like Joe Biden. I look forward to being able to watch Star Wars one day when I'm like Joe Biden and see it again for the first time. Ronnie says Hulk bit off his own fingers. LK says, so one bite and his power was drained? Well, I think his power was already waning. And once he was bit, it didn't matter. At that point, you're so exhausted. I mean, he was only fighting through the exhaustion to save his life. And during the bite, it's over. And so why not just give in to the exhaustion? Dragon Ball says, people taste like pulled pork. I was told this in a documentary. Yes, but Magneto's a mutant. I said, what do mutants taste like? You gotta pay attention, Dragon Ball. They feel no pain and can't be decapitated. And like Return of the Living Dead, zombies eat flesh like Romero zombies. Daredevil's blood built up in his legs. That's just nasty. Ew. Let's see. Magneto lives on in Hulk's stomach. Gross. Let's see. So I'm guessing Luke ate Jessica Jones. Says okay. Let's see. Melissa Harris says silver dinner. Taste silver meat. I don't know, man. Here's the thing. There's a little bit of a problem that I'm seeing in the story. I'm trying to just throw disbelief to the wind instead of, I'm not even just suspending my disbelief, I'm just tossing it to the wind. But it's a little bit tough when I see Magneto taking like bolts from like steel girders and like shooting them through these people, through these zombie heroes, like Thor, or like he takes one of Hawkeye's arrows and plunges it through Thor's throat. And I'm like, okay, so if you can hurt Thor with an arrow, Silver Surfer should just be like power cosmic, wong, could just wipe everyone, just like a what is it, War of the World? Steven Spielberg's War of the World, when the tripods are just walking in the beginning of the film and they just start unleashing on everyone and they're just incinerating. Like that's what I could just imagine Silver Surfer floating above everyone, is like, just frying everyone, because they obviously don't seem to have any invulnerability. So I don't know. We'll see where this goes. Let's see. Definitely don't eat before or while reading this book. Oh, I'm sure that didn't stop Breen or Venkman. I'm sure Breen was munching Pringles, and who knows what the hell RDV eats. I see what he posts, so it could be scary. I wish I had some Pringles to wash this story down. See? There you go. I guess he didn't have any, though. Too bad for Eric. Let's see. Magneto should have covered his body in armor. Stupid. Well, he has armor and a suit, sorta, but no, I don't think he could, because he was exhausted. Like, he could barely manipulate metal as it was. Imagine trying to like animate a metal suit around you like constantly. I as I'm reading the story and like I'm listening to that proposal by you, my mind immediately thinks like, no, I think Kirkman justly expressed that Magneto was at like the breaking point. Like he was pushing past his limits, probably because of he's fearing for his life. Everything that he did was like he was about to collapse. And it's one thing when it's like, oh, I got to just do this one thing and stop. But having an animated, like a suit, and you're constantly having to use your power to animate it, this is all fiction, of course, but I imagine it would be tougher. And so it doesn't ring hollow to me to think like, oh yeah, he could have just made an armor suit. That was stupid. Like, I think Kirkman made me believe that's what was going on. Let's see. I'm stoned plus playing PS4. This is on my big screen phone, says Dragon Ball. Oh, all right. Thanks for telling us. As I said above, mutants taste like mustard and bigotry. Get it right. Oh. No, Maranya. Mutants don't taste like mustard and bigotry. That's what the humans taste like. You didn't read the book. Tom Taylor said that. See, Melissa says Thor's hammer don't work when he's a zombie. He's unworthy. Oh, yeah, good point. Obviously, they don't have their full powers because they express how Wolverine's healing factor wasn't doing squat, and Banner couldn't turn into the Hulk anymore. So I'm assuming they don't have their powers. And, Thor's nigh invulnerable. So putting an arrow through his throat, like if Hawkeye, if they weren't zombies and Hawkeye shot Thor in the throat with an arrow, I think it would probably bounce off. I don't think that would happen. So that's what I'm taking away from that. Also, technology and metals exist. Optimus Prime can be fixed and repaired. Also, if Freeze, but he's dead. He can't be fixed and repaired. He's not just a robot. He has a soul. Remember, he joined in the Matrix thing, and now his part of his spirit or whatever like lives on in Rodimus Prime. So, no more Transformers talk. We do not speak of the other generations. They do not exist. They are blasphemy. RDV says, is Doctor Strange a zombie? I don't know. I haven't got that far. LK says, I guess Lady Thor is wielding Mjolnir now. No, hopefully Jane Foster was eaten by Thor. Remember, they said we ate their loved ones, so I can only hope. Doctor Strange could turn back time. Can he turn back time? How can he turn back time? I mean, I guess he does have magic. Doctor Strange can one of the problems with Doctor Strange is he can kind of do anything you need him to do because he has magic. He's the Sorcerer Supreme, so it's like, oh, we need to do this. Well, fortunately, there's a spell that will do that. You're like, oh, okay, thanks. I wonder who would know that spell. Maybe the Sorcerer Supreme? Let's see. Female Thor needs to trip the hilt? I don't even know what that means. Speaking of not knowing what that means, it's time to get on with our main event book for the evening. This is Batman, The Long Halloween. Why is RDV saying endgame of what? What do you... What do you do? RDV, man, you're funny. You just... LK says, Doctor Strange has seen 8,000 possible outcomes. No, Doctor Strange had the Infinity... That was from the movies. The MCU's not the comics. You guys, come on. Anyways, moving along. Batman Long Halloween. Here we go. And for Maranya, I checked, it's full screen. This is St. Patrick's Day. I should have known this was going to happen when the other one... Hold on. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. If you guys don't get that reference, you can leave now. Just kidding. But you should get that reference. I'm going to be disappointed in you. All right. Batman The Long Halloween. Take 2. Step away from the door. Early parole. You'll be back. Gotham Penitentiary. Here's a place you don't see very often. It's like everyone goes to Arkham. Like, I don't think modern writers even know that there's anywhere else but Arkham. Get in. He's waiting. Any news? On their way, Mr. Falcone. Everything goes smoothly? Yes, sir. I missed you, Papa. You've been away too long, my daughter. The family needs you now. I need you. My Sophia. Carmine, the Roman Falcone, Gotham City's untouchable crime lord, who apparently sired a daughter who's 6 inches taller than him? Jesus. Sorry. Shouldn't add commentary. It's a good book. March. The monthly board meeting of the Gotham City Bank. I hear the words coming from my mouth, and yet it's as if something else were speaking. Someone else were speaking. And so, after giving the matter much consideration, I am now of the opinion that our former bank president, the late Richard Daniel, was correct. Falcone Imports should do business with Gotham City Bank, and Gotham City Bank should do business with Falcone Imports. I've given the go-ahead for a wire transfer of the $350 million as requested by Carmine Falcone. Bruce, we're delighted, of course. Falcone Imports is a huge account, but this is so unlike you to reverse your position. I've had a change of heart. How could they understand? My mind may be foggy, yet I am at peace. Lost somewhere in the green. Bruce? Hello? It's me, Selena. Come. Ivy? Sweet. We've got bodies piling up all over town. Maroney thinks Falcone is backing this holiday killer, so he takes it out on the Roman. The nice part about dealing with these guys, Jimbo, they all want to do our jobs for us. Our jobs? Our jobs don't include murder, Harvey. I want to stop Falcone and the rest, but not like this. Never like this. Of course. Don't give it a second thought. What do you want to do about Bruce Wayne? With what we suspect about his connection to the Roman. We could hurt them. Green. Huh? When I was a child growing up in Chicago, we looked forward to St. Patrick's Day. They would close the school so we could go downtown and see the parade. The city would turn the river green, and we thought it was the work of leprechauns. St. Patrick's Day. We all think of green. Now it's red. Blood red. St. Patrick's Day is coming, and we're no closer to finding out who this madman is. Holiday. What about Wayne? Take it slowly. Concentrate on Maroney. He's the weak link. Maroney and Wayne. 2 for 1. I like it. Pfft. Morte. Carla Vitti, the Roman sister. The Vitti family rules Chicago with designs on Gotham City. I rang the bell. You didn't answer. I'm not interrupting anything, am I? Aunt Carla? Sophia, baby. Your father didn't tell me you were coming home. I swear I could kill that Carmine sometimes. Do you see this gun? It's a .22. I forgot to give it to the cops when your brother Alberto was killed on New Year's Eve. The same kind of gun was used to kill my son Johnny on Halloween. I'm going to use this gun, Sophia. I'm going to get this Cafone holiday. Does your father know you have that? He does now, eh, Sophia? Aunt Carla, I was sent out of here out of respect. We're going to hit Maroney on St. Patrick's Day morning. Papa believes that Maroney either is Holiday or knows who it is. Will you come out against us? Now that Carmine has handled the banking situation, money is flowing. Things are as they should be. Thank you. Wayne Manor. My father's house. Life is good. In the green. You still have a healthy appetite, Bruce. You'll need it for... Do you feel a draft? You're mine, Poison Ivy. All mine. You're like a weed that's come into someone else's yard. Kick. A weed that needs to be torn out by the roots. Stop. Wow. You've lost control, Wayne. Ivy has made you do things you wouldn't or shouldn't. Oh, hell. Ordinarily, I might enjoy this. The green. Bruce. Ivy. Or I think that's her. It's hard to tell where the word bubble is. Ivy. Gone. I wonder how many kids today reading this book can actually read this clock. Oh, sorry, moving on. Bunch of bullet holes through a door. Bunch of dead people. Shots fired through chandelier. A leprechaun. St. Patrick's Morning, Gotham City. Stop the car. Sal, the boss Maroni's safe house, the Romans' chief rival for control of Gotham City. Someone beat us to the punch. This changes things. Holiday. That night. It's not a toy. Nice. I've never seen this, but that's cool. I've never seen that happen before. Just Batman just like scolding her. It's not a toy. Nevertheless, thank you. For what? Bruce Wayne is a friend. Oh. Why do you help? In time, you'll see. I no longer am in the green. Poison Ivy is no longer in my system, but her spell made me do things that will have to be repaired. The bank. My reputation. I owe Catwoman much. Everyone was against this idea. We have a sort of policy of not working with your kind. If it hadn't been for Catwoman's unexpected interference, think of how much more we could have accomplished. Miss Ivy, if there's one thing I've learned in business, it's to expect the unexpected. End of book 6. Whew, this is a long story. Although I think you guys all knew that. But 6 issues in, and it hasn't really unfolded. I know there's 7 more issues, and it's not bad, but I feel like it is a little bloated. But it's cool to read, and I like Tim Sale's imagery. He's like a poor man's Frank Miller. All right. Got the book queued up for next time. Let's take a look at the chats, shall we? Boom, boom, boom. Where were we? RDV says, replying to Infinity. Read your comments, Ash. You skip comments. Dude, he said that a long time ago, Vankman. So I know you were replying. You were like 30 minutes later you replied, though. Let's see. Melissa Harris says, Arrowverse don't understand, or Sean Gordon Murphy, that some villains are goddamn immortal. No one's immortal, Rania. No one. Let's see. Dragon Ball says they do. That's where they're trying to send Punchline. She's going on trial. What? Now I'm really lost. Dave Roberts doesn't make any decisions. Even the line UOs come from upstairs. You guys talk. I don't even know who Dave Roberts is. You guys having a weird side conversation. Melissa says, I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman. I do like Batman, how he's portrayed in this story. He's not beta male Bruce Wayne like in Tom King stories. And this relationship with Catwoman is the relationship I like. I like that there's chemistry there, but that's not like, oh, let's go away to France while Gotham's burning and we'll have a party on the beach. I was like, what's going on here? Let's see. Bruce gets some Ivy nookie. Bruce is tending to Ivy's garden, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink, says Melissa. Oh my goodness. I got this little screen and Death in the Family on big screen. Wait, so now you're listening to this while you're watching a movie. I can understand playing a video game while you're listening to it. I do that sometimes too. But watch movie? Or maybe you're not listening to me. Maybe you're just watching the movie and you're just doing the comments. Who knows? You do you. LK says, okay, the rest on TV have to go to bed. Night, everybody. Good night, LK. I'm probably late to that. Let's see. Does Robin beat anyone to shock in this? Because it happens in you know what on my TV. Okay. Bruce Wayne got turned into a plant like Sonny Bono from Troll. RDV says 30 minutes. His comment was literally 12 lines above mine. Line count doesn't equal time. Anyways, I'm probably being hyperbolic anyway, so. What do you want me to say, RDV? What do you want me to do? I'm trying my best. You're dragging me down. You're not helping. Stream until you see the light outside. Read more books. I'm left watching Batman animated movie show. But you're not even watching this stream. You're like doing other things. Punchline is now on trial. On way to prison, you mentioned. Are you spoiling stuff from books? Alfred Master Bruce can't watch you and Ivy Bang. Jesus. This has gone off the rails. Tom King makes excuses for murdering Alfred. Tom King's this jerk. So, RDV says, say you love Rorschach. I love Rorschach. There. Oh, you mean issue 1? No. I gave my opinion on that already. You were there. Why do you want me to say nonsense? I don't understand. Where's Breen? Speaking of nonsense, he didn't even say goodnight. What a jerk. What a jerk. Well, it is after midnight here, and I'm on a more early schedule, so I'm like feeling tired. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the comics tonight. It was a little bit weird for me to do this. Like I said, I'm not at home, so I'm kind of a little out of sorts. Try to do the best I could. Hopefully you like the books. I like the Marvel Zombies. I like the Marvel Zombies more than I like the American Vampire. American Vampire was just okay. I guess I was expecting more because I think Scott Snyder is a better writer than that. And it just felt like random, oh look, there's vampires and they're killing people. The end. Like, it just felt too simple and uninspired. Marvel Zombies was pretty simple, but at least it had like really fun moments. Like it kind of almost felt like a tongue-in-cheek thing, and I liked some of the dialogue and some of the scenes, so that was cool. RDV says American Vampire gets better in the next issues. That's cool. I mean, I can believe that too with character development, and now you have places to go with these characters and do more. And like I said, I do like Snyder. I'm getting his Undiscovered Country book, which is really, really good book. His Justice League was really fun series. So let's see. RDV says Breen goes to bed when you start reading. Well, he could at least say goodnight. That's just a polite thing to do. Apparently back in his barbaric times, whenever he was born, they didn't do such things. He's just not civilized. Let's see. RDV, are you trying to trigger Ash like Englandine gets triggered with Secret Empire? I don't get triggered with comics. I get triggered with politics. That's how you get me triggered. Let's see. Death in the Family is a retelling of Under the Red Hood, so I can still watch this. What? No, Death in the Family is a retelling of Death in the Family. I believe Death in the Family came before Red Hood, well before. This is why you should read comics. Stop watching the cartoons. Let's see. Both American Vampires and Marvel Zombies have what I call gratuitous violence. Just because they could do the gross stuff, it doesn't mean that they should. But that's my opinion. Well, I think it's a fair opinion to have. I'm usually of that mindset myself, Maranya. The only reason I'm probably giving it a pass here is because it's the Halloween thing, right? Like, I'm kind of looking for that a little bit. And I've always been one of those people that I believe Halloween should be scary. Like I never liked even when I was a kid, I never liked when people were like, I'm dressing up as, I don't know, just, I'm trying to think. I can't even think of something off the top of my head, but, like I'm going to be like a movie, like a character or something, like I'm going to be Spider-Man for Halloween. I can understand why I dress as Spider-Man. That's cool. But like Halloween's about scary ghosts and ghouls and things like that. And I don't know, even for whatever reason, as a kid, I felt that way. And you had the whole pumpkin motif, jack-o'-lanterns, and it's like, I always thought Halloween should be gruesome. And I don't really like the gratuitous violence. But you're right. American Vampire did kind of feel that way. Marvel Zombies felt gratuitous, but it felt like tongue-in-cheek, right? And the gratuity was to sell that dark humor, and you kind of needed that. Whereas American Vampire wasn't humorous at all. Like, it was just trying to be that one was truly gratuitous. Like, there was no purpose. But they were both okay. Neither one of them was like, oh, why am I reading this? And I'm having fun. The Marvel Zombies has been fun. I hope it gets even better. I know early Kirkman is not nearly as good as Kirkman today. It's actually kind of fun to read his older stuff and his newer stuff. You can actually watch like him evolve, because his writing today is so much better versus anything I've read early. And maybe I could be wrong. I know people have told me that I need to read more Invincible because it gets better, but the old stuff I've read of his, whether it's like his Marvel stuff or like Invincible or things, and it's not like I'm saying they were bad. I'm just saying the stuff I'm reading now, like Oblivion Song and Firepower. If you guys aren't reading Firepower, that's a really good book. It just feels like there's more to it. And he's writing a ton of books. Like, I buy 3 of the books that he writes, and I'm not even buying all of his books. So the fact that he can do that and do so many books is really impressive. Plus, the dude's super busy. I mean, he runs Skybound, which is his own. It's like it's an imprint of Image, but it's his own like publishing company within Image. And he's an Image owner. Like he's a, what do you call it? Like a partner. So he like runs Image, and he's constantly out there doing like the movie deals and the TV shows I mean, that guy's life must be super busy. Either that or he's just able to like write stories like while taking a poo. Like it's like, oh, I'm gonna sit down on the toilet for 30 minutes and I just popped out a new Oblivion song comic. I know that's what Bendis does, but it also feels like it at the same time. RDV says, read Walking Dead again, this time in color. Walking Dead would have been a good one to do in hindsight. Like, but everyone, it's like, I feel like everyone's done Walking Dead. Let's see. I could be Kano. I look like Kano with the hair on his face, not the MK3 Kano. Dragon Ball is fixated with Mortal Kombat. I got real Razor's Edge Metal Joker throwing cards and 3 real Batarangs. Dragon, I'm sure you're a nice guy. And I don't like normally raining on people's parades, but there's no such thing as a real Batarang. Just, I know it's tough. It's tough to take. RDV says, I'm reading issue 21 of Walking Dead. How can you be reading all these books? I'm never going to take you seriously again, RDV, ever. Next time you're like, read the damn comics. I'm like, why? I'm wait till you to finish what you're reading. But that's it. That's my story. What do we have? 2 people watching the show now. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for putting up with me. Today I wasn't on my A game, so I'm sorry if I didn't deliver as well. I'm enjoying the books. I'm enjoying the chat. I know some of you giving me flack, like RDV apparently doesn't like having chit chat in the comments. But that's too bad because he doesn't pay me. Real sharp, real Batarangs are sold all over online. They're not real Batarangs. Real Batarangs are made by Wayne Industries. And if yours wasn't made by Wayne Industries, it's not real. Have a good night, everyone, says Dominic. The live reading was fun. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for a little positivity and encouragement, Dominic. Because, I am human. I have emotions. Now, see, this is I'm getting all Tom King morose now. This is what happens. This is what RDV does to me. He turns me into Tom King. Shame on you, RDV. Shame. Hopefully Eric Brain is tucked well in his bed and sleeping and getting his beauty rest because God knows he needs it. Just kidding. Hopefully you guys will be back on Sunday. Do another reading. We'll be doing the next issue of each of these books. We'll be doing We'll be doing Long Halloween all throughout the month of October. And don't forget, I need 3 issues of something to read Halloween related in some fashion. It might be that tarot book. I don't know how many issues I want to read of that though. That book looks scary to me and not in a literal sense. Infinity Comics, only one possible outcome. RDV says, I need the background noise. Well, you can just pop up any one of my old videos. All of these streams are there. You got all sorts of stuff you could do. RDV says, read AOC. All right. I'm going to sit here and banter with him all night. He's just trying to push my buttons. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for putting up with me. Read good comics. I'm reading good comics. I'm currently reading through The Boys, and I'm liking it. I look forward to talking to you guys next Sunday, and maybe doing some more videos in between. And I